Before I build anything, I like to use what's called a user story map. And this is a sample one that comes with some software. This is avion.io that we use. User story mapping traditionally was conducted with Post-it notes going around a room. The purpose of user story mapping is to create a shared understanding of the application being built between technical and non-technical stakeholders. So story mapping is going to be a document that continues to grow over time as you move through the process of building your tool, and it makes sure everybody's on the same page. So I could walk you through, this is an online rentals app that's a sample that Avion provides. So when you sign up for Avion, there's a free account. You can take a look at this exact one. And if you look along the top, this is actually called the spine of the story map. And it has all of our user flows. So if we take a look, there's a user flow here for an online rentals app called Find Accommodation. And there's a few stories. A user is searching for a place to stay, they're browsing listings, and they're viewing a listing. And then there's another flow for booking an accommodation where you reserve a place, you review the booking details, and then you confirm and pay. At the top here, you can see that we have some personas that are called guests, right? Like these are all guests. Scott, they do sort of a style where one of the personas is a guest and they give them names. I would just make one persona called the guest. And if there are multiple types of personas, I may differentiate them by saying that this is a guest and this is maybe like a family member of a guest. These are all guests, and guests find accommodations, they book accommodations. And then you can see here they have hosts. Host Catherine, host Scott, host Betty, right? They have hosts, and they are the ones who list properties. They add property details, they set a property location, amenities available, and then add property photos. And at the top level, if you notice that there's not a lot of detail in terms of what the software is doing. That is by design. We are working to figure out what are all the things that the various users and actors in the platform have to be able to accomplish to get to their goals. When we look down here, this is where we actually get some individual user stories. It starts to put the detail in. So when we say search for a place to stay, we have search by location and we have location autocomplete, right? These are two features of the system. Browsing listings, display listings on a map, sort listings by rating. If we keep going down here, you can see all of these different stories. They have more, right? Filter by refund policy, filter by price, save a listing for my favorites, search as I move up the map. This is everything you want your software to do. And if you'll notice, there's these kind of horizontal sections. These are what are your releases, what you're going to call your releases each time we build, right? So down here is unplanned, and we're going to add a lot of stuff. It doesn't mean that that's going to get put into the demo, but this is where you capture all the ideas, all the things you want this thing to do. Then you kind of move up and say, there's a sprint here, or a release called payment and pricing improvements. Notice how nothing in Find Accommodation made it into that release, but they have a whole bunch of other things in here that are associated with other user stories. If we go all the way up to the top, MVP, they have an MVP release, and that's search by location, location autocomplete. These are just the things like on their MVP, they're like, hey, you only need to be able to search by location. All this like adding check-in, check-out, select dates, I'm flexible. We don't need that.